Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I am joined in person in studio in Los Angeles by Danny Kelly, Craig Horlbeck, and Tom Brady is joining us here. Tom, what'd you think of that Super Bowl, Tom?
Two competitive teams who both had great seasons. It's a 30-point blowout, and there's still an hour left in this game. So I'm really just going to say nothing for about an hour. But I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking, KB. The Super Bowl, it's not just you know what's the best part about it? Is when he was vamping, he just over-explains so much. And he did this one part where he was like, when you win a Super Bowl, it's not just about you, it's about your family and your friends. It's about your teammates from college, your teammates from high school, your teammates from middle school, elementary school. It's like, Tom.
He's filibustering the rest of the game.
He'd be like, Super Bowl's not just about the game, it's about what you do that day. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you get in the shower, you make breakfast. It could be eggs, it could be cereal, KB, and then you got to drive to the stadium. So it's not just about the football game.
The best part was that when the game ended, they went to the Fox desk, and Gronk was like, "Yeah, you rush 4 and try to make Mahomes roll, and like don't let him throw down field, get pressure." He was like, "That was our strategy when we beat him with the Bucs in the Super Bowl." And I was like, why didn't Tom Brady say that at any point in the game?
Brady didn't say that once.
The funny thing is that's kind of like the big cliche in football is try and get pressure with 4. Yeah. But he just didn't say the biggest cliche.
Yeah. So his last Super Bowl win was literally this exact strategy against that team, and he didn't bring it up.
So anyway, so we should probably talk about this game. For being honest, kind of boring. I was pretty into the commercials by third quarter.
Much like me drinking water out of a mug, this game just didn't feel right. It's kind of weird.
Wow.
DK, what is again, the Chiefs, they lost to the Eagles 40-14. I mean, they got their teeth kicked in.
That's like 40-22.
40-22. I honestly stopped watching.
we actually did probably.
I didn't watch.
No,
I wrote it down.
That's why this game was even more awkward, because it was like, it was already awkward how big of a blowout it was. It's like, all right, this game is over at halftime. And then it was super over, and it was literally 40-6 at one point. And then they scored twice, and it now looks like 40-22. So it's like, it was the most awkward concoction possible.
Yeah.
That it was like, 40-6, like that's still a blowout. And it's like, 40-22. Now when people look back, they're not going to think it was as big of a blowout, but it still was. It's just like, in all ways, it was a 10 out of 10 on like the, what do we do with this scale?
It was a boring blowout.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like there's differences in, like there can be fun blowouts, I guess, if the football is really clean and exciting and deep throws and all that stuff, big plays.
The Broncos Seahawks blowout. That wasn't that fun.
I thought this game. I'm sure
it was
DK.
for me.
It was fun for you. You're a Seahawks fan.
I was in Nirvana.
I think this game was very, very, very similar to that Broncos Seahawks game. I know the Broncos offense was like way more prolific than the Chiefs offense, but it's similar where it's like, they have Peyton Manning and the Seahawks. And at the time, the Seahawks defense, frankly, had a lot in common with this Eagles defense that was playing at this elite level, but no one knew they were that good yet. And because, back then, who's Richard Sherman? And then the first snap, it's like, the Seahawks went up like 8-0 immediately or whatever, 7-0 immediately. And then it was 43-8. And it was like this boring from wire to wire. It was kind of like, I don't want to watch. This is over. And frankly, the only reason it even was as interesting as it was because Mahomes was on the other sideline. Any other game, once you go over once it was 20-0 or 24-0, you're like, on any normal Sunday, you would turn the game off.
Yeah, there was like a morbid curiosity to watching Mahomes and the Chiefs get their kicked.
It was just, honestly, it was the Schadenfreude Super Bowl. Like it was I don't know if there's ever been, frankly, this is what the 28-3 game felt like before Brady came back.
Before it actually,
where everyone at halftime, we were celebrating. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted Tom Brady to lose that game. I remember in college, it was like two friend groups at parties. All Patriots fans watched it alone. Everyone wanted the Patriots to lose, went somewhere else. And like, this is what that was supposed to feel like, was just the second half party, and everyone who hated Mahomes and hates the Chiefs and is tired of this, which I don't even feel that way, but I think everyone, it was delicious to watch them just fail. But
totally. I wanted the Chiefs to win, I think.
What did you remember? Because we were talking about this before the game. What like you can't kind of you can't ignore what your body wants or whatever.
When you find out in the moment,
my body really wanted it.
Sometimes you should. But
sure.
My body is telling me to win.
Impulse control sometimes.
Although I did bet the Eagles minus 14.5, which hit.
Did you? Yeah.
But I wanted the Chiefs to win.
Well, I mean, I bet Xavier Worthy 2 touchdowns. And that was, never
we all made a lot of money today. I think I wanted the Chiefs to win just because it would be cool to witness greatness.
Right.
But I think I actually prefer the fact that the Eagles kicked the out of the Chiefs, because it validates this game for me where if it was a close game and the Chiefs lost, I think I would have been a little bummed. Like, man, they were so close to this three-peat that could have been so historic to witness that. But now that the Eagles did this, it really made me feel like the right team won. They were the best team, and I'm happy for them. And I kind of, like, we were all kind of joking that we didn't want the Eagles to win. We didn't want Eagles Chiefs. But this much of a dominant performance did make me kind of rethink that. And now I'm happy that this is what happened. They are the best team.
It's a no-doubter. This isn't like the ball bounced weird a couple times.
It was like they kicked the shit out of them.
Yeah, and obviously, and we've talked about this for like the last month or whatever. They've only lost one game since September. That game was the game that Jalen Hurts went out. So, I mean, you could put an asterisk on that game in particular. But like, this has been the most dominant team for the last several months. And we said this. It's maybe one of the best teams, one of the best rosters ever assembled. I think this game really validates that thought because this is like an absolutely dominant performance against one of the best teams in the NFL and the Chiefs, obviously, and they snuffed out the option of a three-peat. So like this is like a legacy building type of game.
And not just that, the Eagles should be the overwhelming favorites to win the Super Bowl next year.
They're not losing many of these guys.
Well, that's the thing is obviously anytime you win the Super Bowl, you're the favorite to win the next year, but there's no reason to think the Eagles, this team's going to get better next year. Literally, it's just a question of whether they're as healthy. But like that defense is, I mean, these are two of the younger defenses in the league. When you look at the actual contributors, like, I mean, again, the defensive line, it's like Jalen Carter. It's like, what, his second year in the NFL?
Jordan
Davis, Nolan Smith, Cooper DeJean, and Quinion Mitchell are rookies, and they kind of dominated. Like, even the plays, I mean, we're going to go over, there are so many stats from this game, but you can't, it's hard to put into words like how good the secondary was, too, covering. And I'm like, all of these guys are probably going to get better next year. And then the offensive line, too. I mean, it's kind of, as a Giants fan, it's depressing. Like, the Eagles are clearly the best team in the NFL.
I mean, I think, there's a ton of stats about this game that are, like, we were kind of compiling them throughout the game. I think the Chiefs had, they had like one first down in the first half or something like that.
At halftime, the Eagles had 10 first downs.
You
want
to just do all the stats right now?
Well, what I was going to say is like, yes, I do. But like to preface that, it's like this was the worst game of Patrick Mahomes' career.
100%. And it's not even close because
if you look at the success rate and EPA per.
And it's why the last 5 minutes of the game are going to muddy all that.
Yeah,
you look at his numbers. He had like 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, but it wasn't like that at all.
We need to fix stats where it's like, this one is disgusting.
Cut them off when there's a certain win probability.
We really do. And so, but.
There's true shooting percentage. I've always thought there should be like a true game score or a true stat line.
There does need to be.
It's not accurate.
There does need to be. Because like here's the difference. Because we talked all week and we did talk about a blowout where it's like, is this the only, we basically like, well, the Eagles have a better team. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. And we did ask multiple times last week, is this the Bucs-Chiefs Super Bowl where we're not talking enough about, okay, but like how's Mike Caliendo going to fare against Jalen Carter? And Joe Thuney, who just got moved to left tackle against Nolan Smith. Spoiler, did really badly. Like, again, one of the many stats here is, of the Eagles, they didn't blitz in this game. And more than half of their 4-man rushes when the game counted.
Got literally
pressure.
zero blitzes. When
no
blitzes.
Said,
zero
blitzes in the game, which has only happened like 4 times ever.
And yet they still pressured him on more than half his dropbacks, which kind of tells you everything you need to know. This was the Chiefs-Bucs game again, in that sense, where the O-line didn't, they kind of skimped at left tackle for 5 years. It's kind of incredible. Having said that Chiefs-Bucs Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes played out of his mind. Patrick Mahomes was incredible in that Chiefs-Bucs Super Bowl, and there was just too much going on around him. Patrick Mahomes played terribly today. Like, he just
3
played
turnovers. I mean, one of his picks was he got hit when he threw it.
One was he got hit, but the pick 6 to Cooper DeJean, he was like rage tilting. He looked like when you're losing a video game or like you're losing in poker and you're making emotional decisions. He like threw that ball with like anger across his body. Like, you could see his frustration. You said at one point, was that when Mahomes was on the sideline and Kelsey was like, you okay? And he was like, I'm good.
It was 10-0, and I think Aaron Andrews said that some Chiefs teammates were going up to Mahomes and kind of checking on him, and Mahomes was pushing them away, saying, I'm all right.
That's concerning.
The second people started asking you, are you okay? You're usually not okay.
It was
we kept saying, "Oh, he's Michael Jordan." No one came up to Michael Jordan in the finals and was like, "Are you good?
Dude, are you good,
dog?
Right?
Like,
are you good?
Are you good?
Such a bad.
Because
it's a bad sign.
He was flustered in the first quarter. He started to get the Peyton Manning happy feet. You could see he was not stepping up in the pocket. He would kind of instinctively like step 3 steps back just in case, because he was feeling the pressure even if it wasn't there. It's crazy. Austin sent us this stat from Seth Walder. The Eagles blitz Mahomes 0 times, like we said. Mahomes is now the 6th quarterback in Super Bowl history to not be blitzed a single time, and in those instances, all 6 quarterbacks lost.
That's because when you do it, you're confident you're going to hit him anyway. The confidence is a huge mismatch.
They didn't need to blitz because they were getting to him. So he had 6 sacks, 16 pressures.
That's the key to winning a Super Bowl, is to assemble the greatest roster ever and the best D-line ever.
Yeah, I made the list.
Or have Tom Brady.
Here's the blueprint.
That's the only ways to
Guys,
beat Mahomes.
This is what we do in this business. We create the blueprint every time. Every year there's a new blueprint for winning the Super Bowl. Yeah. Usually it's have the best quarterback. Yeah. But actually what the Eagles blueprint is, best offensive line, best defensive line, two awesome receivers, the best running back in the NFL, being able to fix your secondary in one draft, have an unstoppable play in short yardage, find some random free agent and turn him into an all-pro.
I actually did 3 of that, but yeah.
What else am I missing?
Oh, get the first receiver to win a Heisman Trophy in 3 decades and have your other receiver be twice as big and faster.
Have a great defensive coordinator. What else?
You have 2 choices. One, you get the greatest quarterback ever. That's one way to win the Super Bowl. And the other is just, if you don't have that, you have to make sure the other 21 players are better than the other team.
And it really is. And
that's it.
Especially in this game, like I think the first or second drive, the Eagles did the tush push and Chris Jones hurt his neck. And when that happened, I was like, dude, now that list where it's, and here's the thing. We said all week, well, how many players in the Eagles are better than the Chiefs? It's like kind of all of them except Mahomes and Chris Jones. Chris Jones got hurt. I don't know if it affected him. It seemed like it. Here's the other thing. I feel like Mahomes and Jalen Hurts Freaky Friday. From wire to wire, Patrick Mahomes looked like he was the one questioning himself, doubting, like the pressure of the three-peat got to him. Like, I do think that he, like, I think
the pressure of the defensive line got to him. I don't think it was the pressure of the
but he was, rattled.
Pressure.
Yeah, and then Jalen Hurts had nothing. Like, they couldn't get any pressure on him the whole game. Sorry. How does Brady say pressure?
Pressure.
That's such weird intonation.
Shout out to everyone who did
a pop filter on that mic.
Shout out to everyone who did the Brady drinking game. We put that on Instagram and Twitter and it's Blue Sky and everything. So shout out. But yeah, no, people.
Somebody added when he kept calling Mahomes Patrick the whole game.
Why did he keep calling him Patrick?
It's not the Krusty Krab. We get it. You know him.
I can't. Now it's like thinking during the game. I'm like, is this normal? Do they usually just refer to him only as Patrick?
No, definitely not.
It's usually Mahomes.
And what I don't like about it is he definitely made a concerted effort to do that.
Brady was thrilled about this, right? Brady's watching this like, yeah, this guy.
He said all the right things in the pregame show in terms of like he interviewed Patrick Mahomes in the pregame show and was like, oh, I want to see greatness. I want you to do well, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, that's bullshit.
A question for you guys.
Yeah.
You know in Sarah Marshall when he's like, sees Kristen Bell again, he's like, oh, I wish I was wearing this shirt. Mm-hmm. You think Patrick Mahomes regrets wearing a green suit to this game?
The green tuxedos do seem kind of up now.
That was a weird choice.
Didn't age well. He's like, he literally wore, maybe it's, do you think it's because he wore Eagles colors or do you think he knew he was going to be smashed into the turf the whole game and he wanted like camo?
I respect it ultimately. Like those are what, like Michael Jordan would do that. That's what you do. You have to have that confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone saw the game. Like in a way, it's the Eagles dominated the trenches on both sides of the ball. Like it was kind of embarrassing. Like you're getting Mahomes shoved in. His own linemen are getting shoved into him while Jalen Hurts is untouched. And then they just, honestly, they kind of dominated on special teams too. Like even the Chiefs punting was not nearly as good. Like everything was sloppy. And then,
everything was into the end zone. Yeah,
and then Hurts Hurts just thoroughly outplayed. Like every player on the Eagles kind of outplayed every player on the Chiefs, to be totally honest.
You really got to give it to Hurts, man. He's every time under the bright lights, he really performs. I mean, against the Commanders and today he was awesome. The last Super Bowl against the Chiefs, he was fantastic.
He had like one bad play in the whole game.
I know.
Yeah.
That
one
in the whole previous Super Bowl.
And now, so Hurts has been a starter for the full season for 4 years. And he's now been to 2 Super Bowls and won one and won an MVP, which is exactly the same as Patrick Mahomes, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, the roster might be a little bit better.
He had 17-22 passing, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 72 yards rushing, and a touchdown.
He looked way faster today, I thought, rushing the ball.
Yeah, he had some juice when he was running around, and they kept flushing him out of the pocket, and he just absolutely took advantage of it.
Yeah, down the sidelines, I thought he was awesome.
But you know what's so funny about Jalen Hurts? He's just had like the best team for so much of his career, and he's like this perfect quarterback for the best. Like when he was at Alabama, like he just had the best team. And then all those recruits that used to would have gone to Alabama started going to Georgia, and now those Georgia guys are on the Eagles, and he's kind of just like been on the best team for like 8 years in a row, which is not even a knock. Like he's just, I don't know.
Because Andy's gone through adversity, getting benched at Alabama for Tua, and then having to like come in and save Tua to win the SEC championship, and then being the backup in Philadelphia. That's why at the end of the broadcast, there was like an immediate Jordan commercial for Jalen.
That was cool.
It was really cool. It was like love, Hurts. What I liked about it is they kind of did the classic like.
No one believed in
But
me.
I was told Jalen Hurts couldn't be a starter. But like,
I was told Steph Curry couldn't shoot.
exactly. But those are so ridiculous. I was told Steph Curry wasn't a good shooter. We're actually kind of told that about Jalen Hurts. And so,
Well, I mean, to be clear, AJ Brown said it about Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
as well. AJ Brown also said it. They left that out of the commercial.
I just like it. Yeah. It's just cool. Like Hurts is actually criticized all the time. And he did it and put his money where his mouth was.
More importantly, he's super hot.
Yeah, good looking dude.
He's super hot, and I
Good-looking
think that he's going to get more famous in endorsements now because unlike Mahomes, Jalen Hurts has like broad sex appeal.
Sure.
Like
He's now a Super Bowl winning quarterback,
Yes.
which is like this extra level in like the coolness factor in the NFL for whatever reason.
When was the last hot Super Bowl winning quarterback that wasn't Tom Brady? Like Mahomes is not hot. Like he's hot because he won a Super Bowl, but he's not hot.
Probably Big
outside
Ben.
God.
What's cool? The funny thing about you're right. Hertz is going to be way more famous now. All this stuff, way more ads, way more brand deals. He was like boring, right? But now after he's won,
now it's like
he's
sick.
gone from boring to stoic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lame to
he's
interesting.
He's mysterious.
He's mysterious now.
Mysterious.
Yeah.
He speaks in riddles.
They should
It's
play into
ooh.
that. They should just make commercials where he doesn't even talk.
They should. Yeah, it's just like endorse a Gatorade, and it's like
He just like takes a sip and looks
Lean
at the
into
camera.
it.
Yeah.
he just has like he kind of has like the weird Mike Tomlinisms, but he's like 26 years old.
He's so
He's younger. He's the same age as Kai. Wherever Kai is,
yeah.
dude.
Kai,
Kai,
about 26.
get going, Kai.
I think Kai's 2 months older than him, so Kai's
Aren't we
a little
all-
behind.
Kai can son him, yeah.
But we're no longer allowed to call him boring. We have to say he's mysterious.
He's
now.
mysterious.
He was so mysterious
Steely.
that
He was
in the
mysterious.
post game interview with Aaron Andrews, after 2 questions, she didn't have anything to ask him.
Jeez.
That was like us on Radio Row playing the beer pong game after we ran out of questions because the guy kept missing.
We're like,
Aaron
Jake
Andrews,
Delhomme couldn't hit a cup. I'm like, oh man.
Aaron Andrews was literally improvising and was like, Jalen, look at the confetti. No,
said
look
it
at
twice.
it. Look at the confetti.
Look at it.
And Jalen Hurts was like, I feel nothing looking at that.
Look at the
She didn't
confetti,
even know what to ask
Jalen.
him.
Oh my god. All right, we're good. I just want to read some other crazy stats from this game, and then I'll read some I had. We could go back and forth. I want to start with the Eagles had more points in the first half than the Chiefs had yards.
24.
The Eagles had 24 points, 24-0 at halftime. The Chiefs had 23 yards at halftime, which kind of summarizes the entire game.
Sticking with the halftime stat, they were down 24-0. 24 is tied for the second highest halftime score margin in Super Bowl history.
That's
1988.
The other one I loved, I did this math myself because the Chiefs in the first half averaged 0.8 yards per play, which was I only see decimals in Giants games. It was rattling to see a Chiefs game. And I was like, what's 0.8 of a yard? And I looked it up. It's 29 inches. The Chiefs' average play went 29 inches in the first half.
that's tough.
Which, again, I mean, how big is a football? Like, at that point, like, you can't even advance. Like, if you just started and fell down, you'd make, like,
That was the other thing. I mean, nothing was working. And again, you look at the stat sheet, it's going to show like Xavier Worthy 160 yards.
Right.
They couldn't do anything. Who was the highest rusher? Mahomes was the highest rusher with 25 yards.
Jalen Hurts.
No, I mean on the
Well, now I'm
Chiefs.
realizing, on the Chiefs, oh my God.
That was
no, they didn't
Mahomes,
get
I think,
anything.
with 24 yards.
Again, this is the other thing where, again, I don't-
25 yards.
25 yards. How many did Pacheco or Hunt have?
Hunt had 9. P. Ryan had 8.
Well,
and Pacheco had 7.
the Chiefs at the end of the day, and look, and again, I don't think this is, it's surprising, but it's not shocking because it's like the Chiefs got away, not even all season, 3 years with a kind of, well, I guess Pacheco was better last year, but like in this season, the Chiefs had an unserious running game ever since Pacheco broke his leg in like September, and they have Kareem Hunt, which no other team wanted. Unserious running game, and they have no left tackle. And you're like, oh, well, in retrospect, maybe we should have seen it coming. I'm like, this team skimped on left tackle for 5 years. They have done shoestring and bubblegum at left tackle, and they were like this close to three-peating doing it. So I'm not going to call them out for it, but it's like, yeah, it's like this game, you're like, okay, this doesn't work in this situation. But I mean, you should keep going through this. Isaiah Pacheco, I keep using halftime one because clearly I didn't see the touchdown at the end of the game, but I'm like, it was over at halftime. And Isaiah Pacheco had 1 rushing yard at halftime. Kareem Hunt had 2 rushing yards at halftime. Travis Kelce had 0 catches. DeAndre Hopkins had 0 catches. And then Mahomes in the first half had more passing yards to the Eagles than he did to the Chiefs.
There was
like DeJean's interception was 38 yards. He only had 33 to his own team.
It was such a strong endorsement, and this is what we heard from Sirianni and everybody in the post game show was basically just harping on it. Jalen Hurts said it several times. It's like, man, team sport, like the depth is what matters. We came together, we worked really hard, we worked our off for this, and together we were able to create this absolute buzzsaw team. And I mean, at one point at halftime, I think it was at halftime. I remember someone tweeted out, it's like Kenneth Gainwell and shoot, there was someone else. Oh, and Jahan Dotson. So two like the most role players of all role players because they barely ever see the football. They're only in there to just like, run routes and take up space essentially most of the time. Those two guys both had more yards each than the Chiefs had total.
What?
At halftime.
That's actually crazy. And there were so many things from this game. I mean, I guess while we're being earnest about the Eagles, because there's so much funny stuff I want to talk about from the Super Bowl. But I will say, Howie Roseman, the GM president, whatever the Eagles, would be like the best fantasy football player of all time. I actually think I feel stronger now I could be a GM in the NFL after watching this game. Because if you actually look at the list of how the Eagles built this team, it's kind of just, I mean, I know everyone's like, oh, you talk about Howie Roseman, but I'm like, dude, he went and drafted, I mean, just in the last couple of years, he went and got the Georgia defensive line, got Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. He went and got Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell this year. But the other draft choices he made were like the best time to get a quarterback is when you don't need one. He drafted Jalen Hurts when he had Carson Wentz. That could have got him fired if that went really poorly. If Carson Wentz was good and mad, he could have got him fired.
People were really upset when that happened.
People were really mad. He drafted
Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, the Falcons do it, though. It's not cool. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he drafted Jason Kelsey's replacement 2 years ago. And then guess what? You got the tush push, and it still works without him. Kelsey retires. And so those are the easy ones. But the flip side is the amount of times that he just took players that were the misused on other teams, and he just fit him. Getting Saquon from the Giants, which is the obvious one. But you look at the other ones. Stealing Darius Slay from the Eagles because he was pissed at Matt Patricia and the Lions, and they got Darius Slay for a third. You stole Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the Saints, and like that's another starting cornerback from you. Like Mekhi Becton, who was a very high first-round pick for the Jets,
like
and
the top 10 pick, yeah.
Good as a left tackle, and then mad at the organization, spotting these guys who flashed real talent and had like personal issues with teams. Mekhi Becton now is a 6 foot. He's like 25-year-old starting guard for the Eagles, and is going to be there as long as he stays healthy. And it's like if you just look up and down, it is just draft steals and then stealing players that were good on other teams that they left for like interpersonal reasons. And you just, I don't know. It's really. It is crazy how simple it is sometimes when you actually look. Of all they did was buy the dip. Like every single player on the team.
Did you talk about Bond already?
Oh yeah, Zach Bond, who was not special on the Saints.
Who he didn't do anything for the Saints. Yeah.
All the Eagles did, if you look up down their roster, is
now he's just getting lucky.
That one was like, no, that one, they got lucky. Luck favors the prepared. And I think that like they had everything around Zach Bond to be successful. You make your own luck. But you look around, it is just players who fell too far in the draft, and they're like, I don't care about my needs. I don't care to have a quarterback. I don't care to have a defensive end. It's not about need. It's like, this guy fell too far, we're going to take him. This guy fell too far, we're going to trade up for him. This person should not be a free agent.
Yeah, you can't have too good of a D-line.
No, this is exactly true. Like I say the same about an offensive line. It's like keep drafting guys because you're going to have injuries and you're going to have guys retire or whatever, sign free agent deals. You have to keep that pipeline going. That's what they do. And I know they feel the same way about the quarterback position, obviously because of Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I mean it is just sort of like the textbook way to do the GM job. And I think
it's easy to say, but it's hard to do.
Yeah.
It, again,
it also helps when your picks work out, like the DeJean and Quinion Mitchell picks this year. Like,
oh my god,
a lot of players. I mean, not a lot of players. Actually, that draft class was really good, but they could have picked the wrong players to make those to fill those positions, but they didn't.
I think we have to talk about Nick Sirianni.
One of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah. Would you
Super Bowl winning coach Nick Sirianni?
2 Super Bowls appearances in 4 years.
We talked so much about whether Patrick Mahomes was Michael Jordan. We never once considered whether Nick Sirianni was Bill Belichick.
He fought with he did fight with AJ Brown up 17-0, I believe.
I remember thinking that was the most.
It's not fighting, Craig. It's strategic fire lighting.
No days off.
I remember thinking that was the most Eagles thing I'd ever seen. Was they were up 17-0, smacking the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and AJ Brown screaming at Sirianni, and I'm like, this is the Eagles, man. This is this team.
I kind of see now though, because Philly fans are a special breed. He does kind of like represent that city and that fan base in a lot of ways.
He's perfect when they're winning.
Dude, yeah.
He's perfect, but he's also the worst when you're losing.
Any adversity, and they're just like, I hate you.
They're just high-strung. They're a high-strung
It's a high-strung city. I mean, they're all... Someone tweeted this New Orleans note to grease the polls. I will say, so I live in D.C., but like talking to people in New York, D.C., every single person in the 4-hour radius of Philadelphia went back to Philadelphia At some point, we're gonna have to pull up like a live stream of what's going on.
There is
It's actually crazy. I cannot imagine what's happening.
Someone
in the
on
city
Blue Sky
tonight.
named Kat Flandermeyer is live tweeting the Philadelphia police scanner.
Oh, God.
Some of the best content you'll ever see. Do you want me to read a few of these?
I do. Please.
Okay, I'm just gonna go through it. I haven't read these yet, so this is just gonna be live. This is quote, I've got fireworks. There's also a DJ booth, and then parentheses, intermittent explosions in the background. Hold on, we got a barricade going up down the street. We have lost all the barricades. We have
lost the barricades.
We have random dirt bikes that have gotten around the barricade. Well, now we got dirt bikes, guys. Now we have ants. Let's see here.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
She says, Broad and Locust is lost. Like this is a zombie apocalypse or something. It's lost.
Lost to the locusts.
So there was like a call for a medic for a guy that was down. Disregard second man. He has apparently gotten up out of his alcohol and continued partying. There's like, I saw somewhere someone was like, there's 5,500 people listening to this police scanner live right now. It's like, this is the best entertainment. Because the second half of the game was like boring.
gonna say,
The police scanner probably got better ratings in the fourth
most
quarter.
entertaining part of the
Let's
Super
be
Bowl.
honest. It is our like job to cover the NFL, and we love the NFL. And I was genuinely more interested in the commercials, more in the middle of the third quarter, like both personally, and I'm like, I think at this point it's better for content. Like the commercials were actually, I kind of was looking at my phone during the game, and by the 5 minutes left, and like the commercials came on, I was like, oh man, Kevin Costner or Harrison
You
Ford's in a
literally
log
didn't know
cabin.
they had scored another touchdown.
Thank God.
Who cared?
Thank God for Harrison
doesn't
Ford
matter.
because I bought a Jeep in the fourth quarter.
Oh my God, dude,
of
that was
just
pretty
game.
sick.
Craig went out and got a 2-year lease.
I did.
Unlike, we should,
I bought a
honestly,
Wrangler.
you
Dude,
should
that
have hit
line-
another half-court shot. They should have gave you that one.
I gotta
Harrison
say,
Ford would have given
the
you.
line at the end of that commercial where he's like, he's like talking about all the things that make him happy. My family, my friends, my kids, whatever.
Like Tom Brady.
My pets.
It's about
And then he
elementary
goes,
school, middle
and
school.
my Jeep. Even though I'm a Ford.
Even though my last name is
That was kind of a bar.
iconic.
That was a bar. That was pretty sick.
Man, he keeps doing it.
Did you,
He keeps doing it.
DK? Did you feel more American when Harrison Ford was selling you a Jeep in a log cabin, or when Glenn Powell was riding like a Ram pickup truck over a volcano
It's
and
like
yelling freedom?
It captures like both sides of your brain, right? Like both sides of our uniquely American brains. There was a lot of like patriotic in a different way commercials in this game. This is like, I guess, veering into political stuff, but it felt like there was
It's
a lot
big
of
Trump's American. Let's be real.
There
A
was
white cornerback got a pick six as soon as they removed end racism from the end zone. Like this was a big. We're in a new.
He would have
era.
ran away from
No,
it.
but I
Had
thought the commercials were sort of anti what's happening in the country right now. There was like the intro, like the Brad Pitt
I
intro.
think it propped up the idea that America is together right now.
Right.
And that we
Like-
are all one and family and happy.
Right. Brad Pitt
You could probably
had,
read both ways.
Sure.
Yeah,
Brad
I
Pitt-
think that's true.
He had like a
They're
5
they're
minute.
trying to do. They're trying to get people to read. Yeah.
Yes.
Pitt had like a 5 minute kind
Yeah.
of just like intro thing before the game. It was like 30 minutes before the game, and it was talking about the huddle and how the huddle is so the football is such a uniquely American sport or whatever. The huddle is symbolic of everyone coming together, and like all this stuff. It kind of
They had Tom Cruise do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Kevin Costner, you have Harrison Ford. It's like all these great, iconic American protagonists from the screen telling you about why this country and this sport is so great right now.
But it was,
And then
but
it was like 30-0.
I felt it was all very vaguely, or not vaguely, but overtly anti what's happening. In this
But also,
country.
you watched the Brad Pitt one and you were like, "That's good," and then Tom Cruise started, and you're like, "This is enough."
The Brad Pitt one was pretty good. Like it got me. I'm not gonna lie.
The Google one, I was like, I'm ready to have a family.
Do you guys want to? Oh yeah, want to go through the commercials that got you?
Gemini thing about parenthood.
I'm back in on Google Gemini.
We had the same thought where I was like,
You're like,
"Man, I
damn
should have."
it, get Gemini.
I was like,
Texted
I
Liz,
should have
I was
kids.
like, let's make a baby. Google Gemini wants us to have a child.
I thought I was supposed to tell Gemini what to do. Gemini's like, "You should procreate."
I think I might name my daughter Gemini.
Oh God.
If you get to work now, I think she'd be a Gemini. Or he.
I don't know anything about when is Gemini. When
I think it's August. I think if you get to work.
I'm
in a
August.
timeline.
Oh wait,
I'm a
no,
Leo.
it'll be November. What's 9 plus 2?
August is
11.
Leo. August is Leo.
It took me a minute.
Are we done with football, or should we keep going on the game?
Is there anything else you want to say about the game? I think that
the game was boring.
We should go through we should go through a couple other things here, but then we're gonna get all
You want
incorrect.
to do stats? I was going to ask a stereotypical,
Oh, yeah, the stats.
a stereotypical like post-game media.
We can do
question.
that. We can just do that,
Sure.
and we can,
Okay.
Just do. Honestly, we'll come back to
Better
come back
win
to
for the
game
Eagles,
thing.
worse loss for the Chiefs.
Better win for the Eagles.
Better win for the Eagles because the Chiefs Chiefs fans by the fourth quarter were like, I guess we did make 5 Super Bowls and 7. Like it's cope. It's fine.
They played a terrible game.
It
the
happens.
Eagles were dominant.
Let me first take you a little bit. Does this disgusting blowout, embarrassing loss, invalidate the last 2 Super Bowls just a little bit?
It's a good question. It's a good first take. I think
Invalid.
It's like, oh wow, this is the first time they went up against. They actually already almost lost to a worse Eagles team 2 years ago. Then they got by a Niners team in another weird game, and then when they played an actually good team, they got their doors blown out.
Can I re-first take you?
Their doors don't off.
Can I? Dude, I hate when my
That's almost
doors
hard.
get
I mean, I
blown
can't believe I
off.
said that. My brain is 2 steps ahead.
Can I re-first take you?
Sure.
I actually think it
actually the
validates.
opposite.
I think it makes us.
Okay.
It validates everything we said about this Chiefs team when we were just like, they're 15-1, and they're like,
suck.
They suck. They're awful. Like, this team's bad. This
team sucks.
And then we're like Mahomes. I remember Mahomes. We were talking about MVP, and we're like Josh Allen, Burrow third. I'm like, there is no fourth. There's nothing to talk about. And then Chiefs fans and then they won that Texans game, and then they made the championship game, and we're like, damn, was I wrong to ignore the Chiefs? And 15-1, we didn't talk about Mahomes. We didn't even consider him for MVP. I'm like, was I an idiot? Are we dumb? And I'm like, no, we were right. This team did suck. They did almost lose to the Raiders. They should have lost to the Broncos twice. It actually makes us. It makes that streak of the 17-0 in their last 17 one-score games, where I'm like, okay, yeah, there's something. They know how to pull a hat out of their ass. Or hat?
Oh my God, we're all doing it.
What is going on? No, you don't.
Rabbit
you pull
out
a rabbit out of a hat
out of there.
Or do you pull?
You just said a habit out of there.
That's a Richard Gere thing to pull a rabbit out of your ass. But then, no, that was a gerbil.
Richard
Allegedly.
Gere
Jesus
put the
Christ.
gerbil in his allegedly.
I guess the doctors pull it out. Allegedly.
We are a comedy show.
Horseshoe.
Allegedly.
I like Richard Gere as an actor. I think he's a very
is
handsome, talented man.
He was very good in The Agency.
Great
we're
hair.
gonna
American
need-
Gigolo, good film.
Pat McAfee on his show had the bottom bar just has after Brett Favre sued him for talking about Brett Favre, and I'm not going to mention it because they sued Pat McAfee and we don't have his lawyers. So, but the bottom bar,
Lawyers?
Did I say lawyers?
It's like how you said it.
This is our bid. Is we're
We've been
a
in New
podcast,
Orleans
but
for
we
6 days.
We've been together for way too long.
can't talk, dude. I don't. What was I saying? We need the
so-
bottom bar to say basically this is a comedy show. Don't sue us. They
But,
literally have that.
To circle back into the football thing, no, it's stupid. It does not invalidate any of their previous Super Bowl wins. Don't be stupid.
Well, now I kind of want to say it.
Do you think
Validates
do you
the
think there was
previous
an
wins.
element of offensive hubris by the Chiefs? Where, look, if you look at
they've had that hubris for 3 years.
It's
though.
gotten them
You know what I
pretty
mean?
far.
But it's like maybe it's a cycle where 3 Super Bowls ago they got killed by the Bucs, kind of for the exact same reason, right? The offensive line was pretty weak.
Kind of a similar game.
Yeah,
Oh.
now it's like the same thing happened again. It's like, okay, we have to kind of reset and focus on what you
We need to actually find a left tackle.
win a game.
I figured it out.
We need to find a receiver.
Here's my first take. It's better that the Chiefs got blown out than lost a close game because of what you're saying. Where
Now they will
now they're
rethink
like
things, retool.
Now you have to go on
Address
serious
the
take.
issue.
Yeah, honestly, they should do something kind of radical where it's like Connor Nevins here at the Ringer joked that the Eagles are going to trade for Myles Garrett in a month. And I'm like, the Chiefs should just do something pretty radical. They need a left tackle, between Donovan Smith and all the things they've done in the past. Again, they won Super Bowls with shoestring and bubblegum in the past. And okay, you bump Joe Tooney out from left guard to left tackle. And I think we actually got distracted by Mike Caliendo at left guard, who's an NPC. And we actually forgot Joe Tooney at left tackle was fine. That doesn't mean he was good. And when he had to be on an island against Nolan Smith, you're like, dude, Nolan Smith and Josh Sweat in particular,
I mean, even Trey
bullied
Smith
him.
was getting beat.
Dude, literally they were destroyed. So, I mean, and here's the thing. You're the 31st pick in the draft. They're not necessarily going to be able to get a left tackle. They're going to have to do something kind of bold there. Or maybe Kingsley Suamataia, develops or something. But yeah, no, they need someone who's they need an X receiver that's not DeAndre Hopkins, who's clearly they need some real tools. But, it's probably better for them to get the kicked out of him and have an actual plan going forward.
I mean,
with
offensively,
humility.
I guess you go in next season, you have Xavier Worthy and you have Rasheed Rice coming off the knee injury.
And they need a running like Trey Smith, the right guard's a free agent. He's one of their better guards. Well, there's only 2, so he's the best guard.
Better than, yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to pay him right now. But yeah, they need a running back.
Need a running back. Travis Kelce, we don't know. He might retire. Hopkins is not going to be in the team next year. Hollywood Brown's probably not going to be in the team next year. So
And the horseshoe out of the is that what I was going for before?
Have a horseshoe up your
no, yeah. It's up your
golden horseshoe.
Bill says this all the time, and now I can't. You pull the horseshoe out of your, you shove.
Pull the horseshoe out of your. But I think
Well, he's not good with phrases either.
No, isn't the phrase like you have a horseshoe up your? That means you're lucky.
I don't feel
you
lucky.
pull it out of
Doesn't feel lucky.
It's just a horseshoe up one.
Yeah, it's up your. You don't pull
Why,
it out.
why did I add the golden? I feel like I've
Golden?
heard one of you guys say there's a
Golden horseshoe?
golden horseshoe up your.
It's even more lucky. We haven't seen it.
No, golden mushroom.
Golden mushroom.
Oh, I see someone said it must have a golden horseshoe wedged up my.
I get that.
Do they make gold horseshoes?
No,
Like gold plated. I know it would be full.
I mean that seems like wasteful. You're walking on it.
A lot of things are wasteful.
Sure.
Can I just say, kind of getting back on track here, Taylor Swift needed an L.
Craig's still mad because he had to take that it's totally the Travis Kelce relationship's fake.
I would.
You're still bitter. You're just using this time.
I would go back and do it again. History suggests that most of the time it's fake. If it wasn't this time,
suggests.
it does. It wasn't this time.
Craig
I'm
doesn't
happy
believe
for
in
that.
true love.
But she needed an L.
Oh,
she needed to
speaking
be
of-
knocked down a peg.
Yeah.
She's had an unprecedented 2-year run.
She's had a good run.
A little jab doesn't hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
The other thing I want to shout out while we're still in football is Cooper
Heifetz isn't
DeJean.
touching that.
Oh yeah, you afraid?
The
Do
Taylor
you
Swift?
believe? Do you believe Taylor Swift needed an L?
Need? She was
can
due.
handle it.
How about- she was due. How about that? She was
no,
due for
I
an
wanted
L.
to get. I want to get personal. Are you happy
Need?
she took an L tonight?
No, I don't. I think that my weird Taylor Swift take is I don't feel as strongly about her one way or the other. I don't
actually
hate
don't
her.
either.
I gotta take.
I like
And
Taylor
I like
Swift
her. I like her
Here's
music.
a-
I do too.
Here we go. First take. Does this loss invalidate all of Taylor Swift's wins the last 2 years?
How do we feel about Taylor Swift's legacy now? She only dates losers.
Kelsey can't
Is this
retire
beginning
now,
of the
right?
end?
Kelsey can't go out with a 30-point. I think he gave a very emotional speech Saturday night apparently at the team hotel, and all the Chiefs kind of thought that if he was gonna apparently he was so emotional, cried, and like apparently he kind of like was gonna retire if they won. I kind of feel like he's not gonna. You can't. This is the last game you
hard.
play.
This is a tough one
If
to
this
go
game
out
was
on.
close, you could still retire if you
You
lost.
lost by 30, and that's gonna be your last thing.
Getting destroyed is tough.
Because here's my other one. Do you think Jason Kelsey's like, why did I retire?
No. You still have to be happy. It's still the right move.
I know, but he's probably partying with the Eagles right now, and he's kind of like, damn, like I should have like played in this game and won. It seems super easy.
Well, yes. I mean, it would have had to have been 2 more seasons. He
I have
would
to
had play.
enjoy my $100 million podcast now. Oh, God.
Now the Swifties are going to be mad at me.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
You like it.
All right, so wait,
You're like a masochist.
I don't. I
it's
like,
true. He does like
Well, the
it.
funny thing is like it's like this is like a loose opinion, strongly held. Like I like Taylor Swift. I don't care. Like I'm just saying this because it's kind of fun. You know what I mean? We're just trying to liven things
So
up.
here's the thing.
This game was so boring.
It was terrible. It was so
I gotta feel something.
one of the few things that gave me joy. So Cooper DeJean, I mean the pick play didn't, but Cooper DeJean got a pick 6, and he scored. So it was his birthday too. Him and Saquon was his birthday. And he was the first player. I forget if it was a pick 6 on his birthday or a pick 6 and a touchdown on a Super Bowl on his birthday. I don't know, but he did it since Steve Van Buren on the 1947 Eagles. Can I read you some guys in the 1947
Please
Eagles?
do.
Dick Humbert.
Dick Hum.
Dick Hum.
That guy was a legend.
I'm not bringing up Hummers again.
What?
This is a family
You
show.
guys don't even remember.
Hummer,
I remember.
Well, you were weirded out that Hummers are. You know what's funny? Since that conversation, I've heard
I brought up
nobody
I
refer
brought
to a
up
Hummer as a
whale shark gummer, which was from.
You're really going.
whale
Jackass.
shark gummer. Get out of here!
Just Google it.
I don't on a work computer. We're in a studio.
It's from the movie Jack.
I think
right?
Kanye
Or
just
the
talked
show,
about it.
or the show
Yeah.
maybe.
I watched that when I was. I watched that when I was
That
11.
went under the radar.
Yeah.
Dude, I was way too young to see like one of the. If you're with kids, my God, I just paused. Should I count
Nothing
down?
wrong with humming.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I was too young to watch the Jack movie when his went through a wall and a rattlesnake bit it, and I was like, I can't believe my parents are letting me watch
I'm just
this.
imagining some parent going like 78 miles an hour on the freeway, and they have 7 seconds to pause that phone.
I think they probably already did when DK started talking about Hummers.
Yeah.
Although honestly, there's probably parents who are so young that they don't actually know what that reference is.
True. Yeah.
Look it up on
Thank you for
Urban
enlightening all of us.
Dictionary.
Yeah.
Or something.
Ben Kish was also
You know
on the
a lot about that.
1947 Eagles.
Ben Kidd?
Neil Armstrong
Shut up.
with two L's.
Man,
They didn't have enough
anything.
people back then.
Oh my God. Okay. Other football stuff. Yeah. I have to admit, Sirianni holding his the interview, and first of all, they had so much time that they had an actual cameraman do the tracking shot on the Gatorade because they were so
No,
bored.
that was kind of cool.
But
and then
then
it kind of ruined it.
they kind of didn't see it.
Yeah,
but
they like missed the money shot. No pun intended.
Man, you are
God,
cooking
DK.
today.
Well, that's what it's
Jeez.
called.
so when you have a kid,
Isn't
are you
it?
just more comfortable with all this? Because I feel like we're weirdly have a lower bar than him.
You guys are getting on my case too much. I'm just saying words.
Hummers, gummers, and money shots in the last 2 minutes.
Should that be the end of the title?
What's
Hummers?
what's the term I was looking for then?
It very well could be that, but in the context,
What did Brady call it? What did Brady call it? That looks like a yellow sticky liquid, KB.
Oh, I have
Getting
that.
showered.
Showered in a sticky. Also another.
that's got to be a slimy, sticky shower. And then Kevin Burkhardt goes,
We're not that phrasing.
and then Kevin Burkhardt goes, "Who cares?"
Oh God.
The best.
Very well. could be
Slimy,
that.
sticky, and I'm like, also that guy. Another thing Brady said, like he hasn't won 7 Super Bowls. He's like, Gatorade bath. That's weird, huh?
That's got to be slimy, sticky. Yep.
I will say though, it was
Who cares? They won, Tom.
when Sirianni got handed like he picked his kid up, and he was like, "You're wet." I was like, it was actually really cute. I think your brain goes one of two ways, which is the inappropriate one, or also realistically, it was actually really sweet. And then and then him and his kid yelled EAGLES.
And they
Glad
spelled it right.
They spelled it right.
Yeah.
Can I
And
just
I was
say,
like, it was actually really
It's kind
heartwarming.
of a
And
hard word to spell.
Eagles is a hard word to spell.
I think like
You know
if I was
why?
under pressure, I would. Up.
Under pressure, yeah.
Pressure.
Because phonetically, there should be an E right after that.
Okay. On that note,
know what I mean?
there was a guy this morning on the local news in New Orleans. No, it was on Big News. It was on the Fox pregame show.
Big News.
Big News. That's actually a thing. But the Fox pregame show they were in New Orleans, and an Eagles fan went EAGELS.
That's how it should be spelled.
That's how it's a better spelling. Why is the like
Change it.
They should. That's a better spelling. Eagles. Like that makes sense. Like
That's
that.
like E-gels.
Why do we spell it LES?
Yes, I agree. When you say it in your head,
Eagles.
phonetically in your head, it should be GELS.
You don't go Eagles.
No.
Like this is a weird example, but there's a center fielder in baseball called Victor Robles. ROBLES, and it's like Robles, but Eagles is
Eagles.
Eagles. It should be Eagles.
Yeah, Robles is
We're
Spanish, but
gonna be
Well,
pissed.
okay, but that's better. It makes more sense.
It's
easier to
tough, 'cause,
learn.
Like the word angle is hard G and then LES, so that's also spelled the same way as Eagles.
Angle.
But angel is GEL, so it is in line with other words. Eagles. You know what I mean?
Angle.
Yeah.
This game just sucked.
You know what I mean?
Saquon got the rushing record. He broke the single season record. And I actually think it's really sick that he sat out the 17th game where he could have broken very easily, probably against the Giants, and gotten the single season rushing record of Eric Dickerson.
Cool that
and
he got this.
Frankly, he breaks a much more satisfying record, which is the including playoffs, the Terrell Davis record for a full season, including playoffs, where he got almost 2,500 rushing yards.
The only thing
And he gets the
missing-
Super Bowl ring.
The only thing
Ring?
missing from this game.
Wing?
What? He gets a ring.
I know, I said wing because I combined win and ring. Anyway, keep going.
The only thing that would have made this win sweeter for the Eagles is if Saquon had a great game. That was the only thing that I wish happened.
I was
Yeah,
just
we
waiting
didn't- we
for
didn't
that
get the
60-yard
moment.
I was
No.
waiting for that 60-yard TD in the
I mean,
second
I
half.
bet you his longest run was 9-10 yards.
He had one play that put him over, but we should do a thing where, do you know how many packages they make? Like anytime you see any package they make about any player, it's like an iceberg. They have packages on a bunch of players. Can you believe how much content they made on that broadcast they didn't put on the Super Bowl?
I know.
Like I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see all the graphics they made, and there probably some dumb animation they never got to run. Like, you know what I mean?
It would have been a nice close the loop if he just had 160 yards and 2 touchdowns.
The other we have, before we keep going, the other thing I have to ask, what was with Mike Pereira in this game? With the first time, like the early in the game, the offensive pass interference at AJ Brown, where at first I was like, oh, that's a ticky-tack call, and then they do the
was.
replay, and AJ Brown Can I recreate it on you?
Okay.
AJ Brown shoves him in the face and then shoves him again. And then Tom Brady's like, I don't like that call. And Mike Pereira's like, not a flag. And then New York calls him back after the commercial break and is like, Mike Pereira's like, yeah, New York called me and said that it was hands to the face. I don't like it though. And I was like, he just did that because he didn't want to make Tom Brady look dumb.
I kind of agree. I thought it was kind of a soft call. My favorite part though was when Mahomes got drilled. It was the fumble sack, I believe.
Oh my God! No, and they were saying, "What can Mahomes pull out?"
Yes, Mahomes. But Mahomes clearly gets like punched in the face.
Okay, you want to do it on me?
Right.
No, I'm not going to punch you in the face.
Well, then I'm going to do it on you.
No, you're not doing that.
Slow, do it slow.
People get it. People know what happened.
Okay. I just wanted. All right.
Mahomes got.
You don't want to hit me at all?
I don't need those sweaty hands on my forehead.
Just clammy.
Those slimy, sticky hands.
Just clammy hands.
Yeah, so Mahomes
Hot,
gets drilled,
clammy hands on your face.
and there was a flag.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Heifetz is
You want to know something? We stayed in an Airbnb on Friday night.
Yeah, that was.
And before we went out to the FanDuel Spotify party, Heifetz goes, Craig, do you think I can wear this shirt out? Does it smell bad? And he puts the armpit of the shirt into my nose, touches it
You had
to
offered
my
to
nose.
smell my shirt earlier.
I already did.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, and I smelled a
smelled
normal
the wrong
part.
part.
Again.
You should control the.
I didn't touch the fabric to my nose like a sane person.
Yes.
20 minutes later, out of nowhere, Heifetz comes in flying, shoves the
like a
armpit into my nose.
chloroform rag.
Yes, literally, I almost passed out.
He liked to harass you a little bit in that Airbnb. He came over to you and was like,
Oh, I woke
when he
you up.
woke you up, he
I
was
woke you up like my
touching
cat
your
wakes me
face.
up.
Yeah.
You're like, dude,
people don't
get
realize
away
what
from
we
me.
go through.
I told him I was
We
like,
all slept in the same room because the Airbnb was a bit of a bait and switch, and I had an
four
air
bedrooms does not mean four beds. It was a 4-bed Airbnb.
It was a 1-bedroom 4-bed, and
it was a little
I
dishonest.
was wearing an eye mask to go to sleep, and I literally woke up in the morning with hot breath
Ugh.
coming on my face, not coming on. Whatever, I guess it was.
Arriving
We're
on
not
you.
doing phrasing
It
anymore.
was hot breath
Arriving,
coming on my
yeah.
face.
What would
arriving
Brady
on my
say?
face.
That hot.
Slimy, sticky. I woke up to a slimy,
sticky
sticky Heifetz
shower.
shower.
Oh, God.
And I removed my eye mask, and Heifetz is looking at me.
So close you can't
Well, because
focus.
we had
4
to
inches
go.
away.
We had to make.
We had plenty of time.
You could just say his name.
I know, but that's not funny. We wouldn't be talking about that on the show.
Heifetz is one of those people. There's 2 types of people. This is my new bit. I say this about everything. There's 2 types of people. Those who will with their friend when they're sleeping, and those who think it's the most annoying thing in the world and would never do that. I'm
on the latter camp.
Yes.
Should we do
Me
a
too.
poll?
Yeah, we should.
To be clear, it wasn't
You know
like
what-
we had to get up.
I think there's nothing. There's
You
like
have 30
very few
minutes.
things like more annoying than when your friend messes with you while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Fun night.
All right.
Season's over.
Hell of a season, kid.
Yeah.
Hell of a season.
I was gonna say goodbye, everyone, but I'm like, it's kind of a down note.
Now we're crying.
I'm going to miss you guys.
We're gonna
I'm gonna
record a
miss
show
you guys.
tomorrow.
No, we're gonna do 2 shows.
We have
Yeah,
email
we're
us
not
for the
going
oh
anywhere,
yeah, I'll see you.
actually.
All right.
We're going to be in studio in like 12.
Emails for the right. Emails to the mailbag. Seriously, whatever you want, any dumb stuff, whatever you think. Just email us about whatever you want, and we're gonna have a giant mailbag. Okay. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.